And we're live.
Yes.
Hello and welcome.
What's
welcome,
up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? And welcome to the A Podcast.
Yes.
We are so happy to be here and have you here to have this conversation with us today.
Thank you guys
My
for coming.
name is J.R. Knight.
And I am Noonday.
He had to think about it, guys.
Noonday all day, baby.
Oh,
So that's what I'm Noonday. I'm
noonday all day.
the rising of the sun.
Today, we want to have a discussion and share with you all a little bit more about who we are.
Okay, that's good and all, but I want to ask you some questions.
Well,
I do. I want to ask
I'm about to questions right back to
I know
you,
that you are, but
because
I
they
just
need
have
to
to
know
ask-
about.
I want to ask it. And I want
You
to.
want to ask me questions?
I do.
Okay.
To start it off, I really want to ask you. I really want to ask you this. Since we started thinking on these lines, I wanted to ask you, where were you? What state of mind were you in, and how young were you when you found out you were pos? I wanted to ask you that.
That is a really good question. That's a low.
I know. I had to get that in.
Okay. So, the state of mind that I was in was, I was just having a really good day.
You were.
Yeah, I was having a really good day. It was just a typical day. I was just thinking. So a good friend of mine was just ill and just declining, and
From?
an ex as well, from what I don't know. But the individual is also an ex of mine, a recent ex, and so I was like, well, maybe I should get tested. And so I went to get tested, and then the doctor just came back and was like, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel great. And he was like, well, you look great, but how do you feel? How do you feel? And I was like, I feel fine. He was like, well, what brought you in? I was like, well, one of my friends who I recently dated was declining or is declining. And so I was just thinking I'd just come in and get an HIV test. Will you share the results with me? He was like, it came back positive. And and so this is when I returned. So of course I went and got blood work, and then I came back. And so he also shared with me that my CD4 count was 7. So I also received an AIDS diagnosis at the same time. And so
But you felt fine, really?
I feel perfectly fine, or so I thought, because then shortly after, because back then, I had to wait, I don't know everyone else's situation, but I had to wait a month or so to get medication, and I thought I was going to die. I was like, why is it taking a month for me to get this medicine? I will die before I get it, but I lived clearly, and I started taking the medication, and I started calling it.
Let me interrupt you. What year was that?
This was the mid '90s. No, mid 2005 or something.
2005.
2005. That's when so there is more to this story.
Okay.
Because that was, so sometimes we live in denial. Okay.
Even after you get your diagnosis? You did?
Even after we get our diagnosis. And that's what I did in 1999.
So you did get a positive diagnosis in 1999?
Yes, but this is a hard story to tell. Because
But I'm getting the tea. They say I get the tea, so
this is a
I'm
hard
getting the
story
real
to
scoop.
tell.
So let's go back to 1999.
So to 1999.
Okay. Your first diagnosis.
Yes, I was called. Yes, I was called into the health department because I was informed that I had had an encounter with someone, whatever the verbiage was, with someone who had tested positive for syphilis. And so I went and I tested, and I came back negative for syphilis.
Right.
But they asked if I wanted an HIV test, and I was said yes. And so they did the HIV test, and that was it. And maybe a few weeks later or more, I got a letter in the mail, and it said that my test results were positive. And so
Then you were how old were you then?
I was 19. And so it said my test results were positive. And so I was like, okay, that's good, because positive is good. So that means that my test results are good. which means that I am okay.
You really thought that?
That's what I thought.
That was what that's what happened?
That's what happened. I
It was like, oh, I'm positive. I'm good. Great.
I'm good.
Oh
I'm
my
good.
God.
Because that's a good thing. And I couldn't go and talk to the elders in the community about
You could
this.
not at that time.
I
You
could not. So I just had to figure it out myself.
And that was your figuring.
And that was my figuring out. But because I wasn't sure, I just, at that point, I lived my life
as
a positive individual, not as a negative one. I was like, I will live like I'm positive because it will happen at some point. Because this is what was being told to me. Like, I will be a person living with HIV and AIDS.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. And so, although I didn't understand that test result, and I took the positive as me not being having a reactive result, which is what that was, I lived like a positive person. And I wish that I felt like I had the support of the community so that I can go and engage them and just.
Did you really have a community at that time? Let's just start there. You meant your at-home straight Black community. Or did you meet your gay community?
No, so I never really had a supportive community in Black community, or even with my family, and so I had to create that.
It's too early for me to cry. I'm not going to get it.
Okay,
it's too early for me to cry.
Yeah, it is literally. Yeah, so I had to create that.
Right.
And so when I thought that I did, and so here's the sad thing is that I thought that I had done my due diligence as a 17-year-old, 16, 17-year-old, filtering out these people and building a network of individuals who will support, inform, and educate me and nurture me.
And this is your gay community.
This is the gay community, but I then realized that they were not equipped to actually.
They were not equipped.
And so I had to learn how to think beyond in what was given to me. I just had to do the work myself. And that's something that I've always had to do. And so that was my story. So I basically lived in, and so some time had passed.
You lived in positive denial.
Basically. But a little time had passed, and by a little, I mean like maybe 4 or 5 years. And I learned then, because there was an organization, a nonprofit organization that was doing work in the community, educating young Black gay men about HIV and AIDS. And I learned that positive was a reactive, and that meant that I was positive for HIV.
Right.
Just in like group conversations that we would have.
Right.
And it made me think about that letter. And I was like, wait a minute, am I hearing this person say that letter I got 5 years ago or however many years ago meant that I was positive? Wow. So I'm like, oh my. And I've been living like I'm positive, which is a good thing, because that means that in my encounters, I was being safe. Because I was like, I'm just going to live like a positive person, and which is great. Okay. So, and just me learning that that was hard for me. I had to carry that weight for the next like 5 or so years. Just living with the idea of the knowledge of knowing that I am a person living with HIV, and I cannot share this with anyone. I cannot engage in treatment. I can't do all these things. And then when I saw my partner at the time, my ex-partner at the time, declining, I was like, you know what? In 1999, I wasn't sure. In like 2003 or 4, whatever, I got a message that kind of gave me a little clarity. But for real, I'm still not sure. But I see this, and what I'm seeing in my ex is something that I saw when I initially came out of the community, when I was caring for people who had been ostracized for being HIV positive.
Yeah.
Because that's another part of my story as well.
Yes.
So let me go to the doctor and see what he has to say. He told me I was positive, and I just accepted that as me knowing for the first time, because when it was perfectly clear.
Okay, I understand.
It's a lot, man.
It is.
And I did my best to reduce that story as much as I can.
I know, but we'll have time. There'll be other episodes. But I think that should have been an entire topic.
Absolutely.
That one time, the disclosure on that, when we found out, what state.
And as much as I want to ask you the same question in return, we have to save some of the juice for a future squeeze.
Well, you can ask me that.
We have to save some of the juice.
Okay.
Okay. Can you give me a snippet?
Well, where I was, how I was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hung out with the roughest, toughest, ghetto is hard, just like we were two steps from being a gay gang. I swear we were just so rough and so out there. We were so out there. We dare trade to say something to us. You know, we fought the boys and we were just like bold black gay boys, period. We're not gonna take it. And I have to calm that down in my spirit today on how I came out and how I'm not having it and how I will not be oppressed. I will not be none of that. None of that. None of that. You won't speak to me in a kind of way because and then I have a complex about it, and I've been in several issues because I'm thinking that's how you coming toward me.
Yeah.
So I have to. Oh, you think it's something soft about me?
Yeah. So
I need to show you different.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm in therapy today for that.
Hey.
So
Congrats.
yeah, thanks. Good. And I'm in therapy at Abounding Prosperity. We do the best therapist here.
Yes, we do.
So basically, how it happened for me is that we chose to go. We were not college queens at that time. We were Job Corps queens. So we went to Job Corps. That's what we did. Okay. So when we went to Job Corps, we was like, I went with like one of my best friends. And we were there. My best friend was way more femme than I was. They was like, and so it was like 2,000 people on campus, and all of these people was like running to the bus, like that because my friend had long braids. It was just like long braids, and this was in the early '90s. It was in 1991, and they was like, it's this gay guy and his boyfriend. They're here on campus. And so, like, all of them was running to the bus, and they actually started rocking the bus, screaming and taunting for us to get out of the bus. Well, of course, my femme queen friend, you know, of course, she carried a blade. I carried an ice pick. Wherever we went, we already knew our scoop. You know that we were out there, so we got off armed and dangerous, ready to slash and bash. So when we got there, they hauled us off to the infirmary and stuff. And so we're laying in this dorm, and it's like the people are throwing stuff at our bunks when we sleep. It's like they were just all over the place with us. I mean, literally all over the place. I don't know how we drew so. Well, I know how we drew. I had a crop top over here. I'm this thin.
That'll do it.
I have an eyeliner. My hair's permed.
How thin, darling?
Faded on the sides.
How thin for the record?
I was this thin.
Okay.
And so I immediately from my childhood, you know who my favorite artist is, my favorite person in the world.
I do know.
It's Grace Jones. So I thought I was Grace Jones. I had eyeliner from here to here. My hair was spiked and permed. And
your friend was the flamboyant.
Yes, and my friend was what
Okay,
she had long braids and body yada.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So but they still thought that I was her boyfriend because I was less feminine. Probably because I always had these shoulders. You know, I always had all that stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, so we were there and we were in Job Corps, and they was taking us off one by one to go to the infirmary, right? This is in 1991. Magic Johnson had just come out and said that he was HIV positive, and basketball was rejecting him at that point. And so it was very much like, you have AIDS, you're going to die. And then I'd already seen queens in my community already dropping, dying, declining, wasting. And I always said that, you know, with my boldness and that same boldness that I got from being raised by those queens, those pack of queens, those blade carrying bitches, it
carries you through.
It carried me through. So I was like, you know, neither is this disease going to pick on me.
Yeah.
But they called me out. It was like, okay, you're positive, and we don't know whether to send you home or to do whatever with you. And I was like, well, I need to get this little education because I got put out of my mama house for being this queer. So I need to do something. So I was like, so y'all please keep me here. Because if I go back home, it's going to be hell to tell the captain. So I stayed there at Job Corps, and my life at Job Corps was, the censor was like really watching me. It was like, And I always got in fights and stuff, so I knew that I was, we was out there and gay, and we carried blades and ice picks, and that's just who we were. And
Yeah.
I was bound to get into a fight. I was bound to
Yeah.
pick somebody. That's what we called it. When you ice pick a queen or a dude or whatever. I was
Protect
bound to-
yourself. You are bound to protect
Yes,
yourself.
and so they had a very close eye on me. They were like, you are going to, anytime I got into it with somebody, they called me in and all of this rushing and all of this stuff. So I like my first fight when I was HIV I think I was 18 or 19 in 1991. So they were like, you can't be fighting. You can't get into it with somebody. When somebody says something to you, you have to run and tell the authorities. And I was like, girl, boo. If Trey say anything to me, I'm going to tap you. That's just that. We're going to start there with the tap. And then maybe he'll run to you.
Okay.
But he's going, yes, ma'am, he's going to get this ice pick, girl. We'll talk about the rest later. So
Oh my.
by that time, and I had gotten out of Job Corps, they had started me on some kind of medication. That's a whole thing
So
too.
that is a thing.
Yes.
It's a whole conversation
We should have been
of its own.
keeping up with this timing because this gets to be deep.
It's getting deep.
Yes,
But, you
it's
know,
getting
hey, we have so many more
We do.
episodes and discussions that we plan on having. So we will be touching on these things. And take your notes as well, because we would like for you to let us know what are some things that you want to hear us talk
Yes,
about.
you're gonna. I know there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
As was I also having sex at Job Corps? I'll answer that.
Yeah, and
Yes. Were the boys hot there when I was young? Y'all will please ask me that. Yes.
you'd be happy to answer those.
I will be happy to answer those questions. Yes, there's questions.
We'd be happy to hear.
Girl, there's questions.
So yeah, so finish up. What were you?
So when I was there, of course, I got into a few fights, and they were all nervous about me being there. This was the first time, but when I was there were some people that cared. I remember us going to because we were going to Splash, and Splash was in Houston. It was like Houston's pride, and that was a 17, 16, 18. If that was a black gay man's dream to go to Splash, it was so much fun. It was so.
It was
grown.
definitely a dream of
And
mine.
so,
I never made it. It was a dream.
really, it was so much fun. We escaped from Job Corps where we were. It was like this was like a 2-1 food story. It was like there was a queen that worked in the infirmary. Was she older than us? I don't know. I forgot.
She definitely looked older.
She was younger than us, but she was young as us. But was she older than younger? You know what I'm saying? Was she like 20 or 21 or something? But anyway, we escaped and we snuck off campus to go to Splash, and that was the trip. And my ass, drinking and drugging at an early age, I got too drunk, and we were in like an old school brown Hornet. That's the car we drove to Splash. So when we got down there,
Classy.
yes. So when we got down there, I had a wonderful time. It was everything. But on our way back, I had my foot outside the car, and the car was like stuck in some mud to where we had to park. And it was, and I stuck my leg out, and the tire somehow like burnt off on my leg. So I got layers and layers of skin missing off my leg. So I gotta go to the infirmary. So it's by the time we get back, it's already infected. By the time we drive back from San Marcos, Texas, from Houston, Texas, my leg is like oozing, bruising, and it's all yellow and nasty and infected and all of that shit. And I'm positive. I'm newly found that I'm positive. And I gotta go back to the infirmary so they're gonna know that I slipped away, snuck off from campus to go to Splash, 91,
Yeah.
So I go there. When I go to the infirmary, I'm like, I just got to go back. Like, man, I'm still gleaming about the good time we had, but I can't walk on my leg. It's oozing yellow mess, and I'm infected. I'm young. I'm positive, yet beautiful, yet handsome.
Always.
I was still Grace Jones. So I went in there and I was like, And I remember those two. I wish I still knew those ladies' name that was just so devastated when they saw me. They tended to me so well. They really did. They had to care.
Yeah.
They was like, what happened to you? And they were so devastated, and they patched me. I had to stay in that infirmary for like 2 weeks. All my work had to be brought to me. They wrapped me, peeled me. What is all of that stuff that you have to do? De-dress me, take it, scrape it, pour it, shoot it. And I was like, my foot stuck all up, and my friends would come visit me. We were smoking pot on campus, so it was fine.
Okay, a random insert.
Yeah, but we weren't. So they would sneak me out of the infirmary. They would hobble me along, and I would go smoke pot and come back high as Cooter Brown. It was so much fun, and that's where I found out. And then when I graduated Job Corps, it was time to take my young Black self out into a world that I did not know how to navigate in. And that was where the trouble began. No one was taking care of me anymore. I had no infirmary to run to as a positive kid, and I didn't, But
God.
no,
Oh,
not that, but with that.
not just.
Not just. I knew how to, with that same energy of like that fighter image, like, your parents tell you basically, I hear this a lot, and this is what I was told. You're gay. You're going to be picked on, beat, ridiculed, stabbed, and you're going to die of AIDS. And the softest words, but they tell you that. You know how they give you that.
Yeah.
No one is going to like you. My mom basically
That's
was
the
like,
script.
yeah, that's the script. Nunu, people going to be mean to you. You don't be around a lot of people. Just be, the safest things that a Black mom could tell your kid, you know. So we have to protect ourselves from that,
We do.
And my thing was, that I was not about to die of HIV.
Yeah.
I was not going to do it. Hence, we're here.
Yeah. It wasn't and is not
Right.
an option.
Right.
I
it was
would-
not an option.
I will die,
Right.
but it's going to be from something else.
Yes.
It's going to be from
Yes.
something else. Look,
I knew this was going to get deep.
it gets deeper.
Yes.
It gets deeper. Look, these are stories about resilience.
It is.
Yeah, about just pushing through. And as hard as sometimes they are to tell, they offer just as much relief,
They do.
and not just relief for us, but hopefully relief for you all, our listeners and viewers out there who hopefully will be inspired by some of the things that we have gone through and will continue
Right.
to go through, because that's how life is. It be, as the young one said now, life
It be like
life be life.
Right.
Yes, indeed. So just to express, we just want to express that we want our discussions to inspire hope, and transcendence. And we just also want to remind you to just mark your calendars. As I said earlier, mark your Rolodex, child. Put it on your ice box. Put a little message on your ice box, your little Frigidaire.
Yes.
Okay.
And get a load of these stories, because we have tons of them.
Oh yeah,
And
more
you know
than
what? I feel like I'm going to have to push you for, because I want in there.
you're gonna have to you're gonna have to get your good show.
Right,
Cause I'll tell the story, but it's gonna be coded. It's gonna be
want the
down, glazed.
I want the gutter.
Like I just
I'm going to be here for you when that happens with you. Because you see it's going to happen for me.
it's gonna happen. Like I held myself real tight and close because it was coming now.
Right.
Okay.
We're going to have these stories, and I feel like you have beautiful stories, and I want to be a part of being here and listening to all of them.
Oh my. Well, I'll let you in on something. I will be telling future stories, and you will be in them.
I'm going to be a part of that?
You will be a part of them because you
most definitely.
have such a significant presence in my life already. And it almost seems like we have shared
That's
this
true.
world before.
That's
It
true.
is so crazy.
This story is
Even when
so-
you're describing your friend, your Job Corps friend, I'm like, wait, was that me?
You're right.
Okay. Could have been me.
Right.
Maybe. But, look, just want to express again that for you all to just make sure that you tune in to a podcast on Thursdays. We plan on
Yes, y'all
releasing
gotta
on
catch this.
Thursdays.
Y'all gotta
You
catch
gotta
this.
catch it. You gotta don't let it pass. You got
Yes.
reach out and touch someone.
Yes.
That's an old. Oh Lord, I just told my age. That's an old South Central Baby commercial. Okay, but yeah. So not only do we want you to save note and tune in for the episodes of the A podcast, but we also want you to visit our website at www.aboundingprosperity.com so that you can see some of the many services that we
Right.
offer. Noonday Express, the counseling, free,
Yes.
exceptional counseling.
And let me say
services.
something about that,
Absolutely.
about therapy and therapy here. The therapy used to be for the rich or the heavily insured. And with Abounding Prosperity, they make that available to the average Joe,
Just the
everyday
average.
person
Yeah.
with the most extraordinary issues and problems.
Yeah.
Whether you're going through anger management, drug addiction, family abuse, you just need family counseling, suicide prevention, or anything.
Yes.
They are there. Even if you need counseling after a diagnosis of syphilis on how your mind should be.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
have three of it's a big team of doctors. But
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
serious. I use two of them. I go to therapy to two doctors here. I go to Dr. Cynthia Jones and
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Michael. He is a master at therapy and counseling. And there's many more.
Yeah.
Yes.
The entire team gets high praise.
And I also want to say this, whatever we test you for here at Abounding Prosperity, we treat you for free.
We definitely do. We definitely do.
We test and treat here, boo-boo.
We
We test
full
and treat.
sexual health screenings
Yes.
for the free. Okay,
Yes,
hello.
for the free.
Just so many things. A lot of projects that we have in place where we are inviting the community to come by. A lot of research opportunities as well. You straighten that shirt out and get
Yes, I want you to get-
properly over that
right,
boob, honey.
right.
And just go ahead and just join us. Join us on this podcast. Join us at our facilities here
Yes.
at 1705 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in sunny South
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas, 75215. You told me it's sunny
Right,
South
it's
Dallas,
sunny
and I
South
shall
Dallas.
never forget.
Thank you
I
so
shall
much
never
for that.
forget.
It's
Thank
definitely
you
sunny.
so much as well. Another hug.
We'll get to that. We are in sunny South Dallas.
We are in sunny South Dallas. If you'd like your own hug, you can easily get that by joining us in future episodes. Thanks for watching. Is that a piece? It's a piece. No, lean in.